Hi folks, I'm John with InspectorPrime. In this tutorial, I'll show you how to conduct a commercial inspection from start to finish. There are some key differences between our commercial inspection system and our residential. We've tailored this system to the CCPIA ComSop, and you can tailor it to your company's needs as well.
So let's begin with the InspectorPrime commercial system. When you first open your system up, you'll be presented with the client portal and the inspector portal. We'll start with the inspector portal. These first few interface pages here are simply support resources from us to you, and you can change these or remove it entirely if you like. The overview section provides simple bookmarks to all the other interface pages you see here, and a little bit of helper text to explain how we design the system itself. Now, when you first get your commercial job loaded using the booking forms in InspectorPrime Office, you'll take the information in there, you'll build a job in InspectorPrime Office, but then you'll go over here and you'll create a project proposal for your client. And it's quite simply, you simply add in the requested services that they place in the booking form, and you can add additional options as you see fit. For example, if you have a walkthrough survey for a property and it's not going to take you 15 hours, it'll take you 20, you can simply add a new option here. Estimate your total hours for your requested services, put in your hourly rate, and it'll pop up automatically all the proposed budgets for the services. You can also add in additional recommended services for folks. And of course, you present those with a budget variance so that you're not tied to a very specific cost, but you can kind of flow with the property and how the inspection and services you're conducting pan out. And you also let the client know, hey, listen, sometimes the inspections and services you provide will take a little bit longer, and here's a variance you can expect for your budget. From there, and we cover this in a different tutorial, but you'll grab the link to the client portal interface, share that in the InspectorPrime Office record, and set an automated email that gives them the link to access this client portal. Within that, they'll be able to go in here and see your welcome page, which should be tailored to your company. But more importantly, they'll be able to open up their project proposal right here and see exactly what you're offering. You'll also put in the agreement link and payment link so that when they're ready to accept the proposal, they simply click to sign their agreement and click to make payment to you. This doesn't show up until you edit your proposal to indicate whether they've accepted the requested services only proposal or the requested services with additional recommended services proposal. And of course, overall, you can simply state that what the status is for the proposal itself. Okay, now moving on, back to the project proposal. Now we're going to go to the inspection dashboard. And what we see here is essentially a tally of all the findings in the commercial property that you're inspecting. Okay, this is just our sample report. What you have in your commercial inspections, of course, will differ depending on the property. We also have your field notes dashboard and your reinspection dashboard if you see fit to use that. To fill out the property details, we're simply going to open the property details section, fill out a profile for the inspection itself and the property itself. Here you can see you can upload numerous files, and then you go system by system and you put in your specific comments or drop down options on whether or not each system was inspected and the subsystems involved in those. And of course, you can again change these options on the fly simply by typing in additional options like that. Now, what we covered is the CCPIA ComSop systems, so the roof, exterior, wood decks and balconies, basement foundation, crawl space and structure system, heating, ventilation, cooling, plumbing, electrical system, fireplace system, attic insulation, ventilation, doors, windows, and interior, life safety, and cooking area. It's important to note that if any of these systems are marked NA, they will not show up in the client portal. So you don't have to change this, you don't have to alter this. You could have one template for all your commercial properties, quite frankly, and only those sections that are marked completed will show up with the client portal. Additionally, this is a database. You don't have to fill out all of these fields. So if we wanted to leave this empty, you could, and it wouldn't show up in the client portal. You're not going to show the client any incomplete sections. Makes it very easy to use and very easy to stick with one template for all commercial properties. So this is where you put in your property details, your system details for each inspection. Very simple and highly customizable to what you want to present to your client. Okay, and again, all files for property profile images, any PDFs or other files you want to share in the results files, it can go here. Client provided documents can be managed here. So if you've got seller documents or buyer provided documents, you can drop them right here and have a record in there. You don't have to store it somewhere else outside of your inspection system. And additional media can go here. We actually have 10 of these fields. Each field holds 5 gigabytes or 50 files. And simply put, this is where you put some CYA photos, or as you simply put bulk photos that you don't want to show anywhere else. And you can either have that visible to the client in their client portal, or you can hide these entirely. It's up to you. Let's move on. The all narratives interface page is where you're going to essentially assign narratives to the property. Now, this is all narratives. This is all the narratives that's in your system. So you're going to have potentially 1,000+ narratives in your system to choose from. Okay, and you use these drop-down menus to really pare it down. This is the Kanban view, and we have it categorized by the finding class. Okay, but you can have numerous views in here. You have the grid view, which is my favorite because you can see whether it's applied to the property or not. You can see whether it's marked for review or not, and you can see your default narratives as well. You can also edit all of your narratives in one view. You don't have to click into a section, you don't have to maneuver out of it. You can click into any of these fields and edit it as you see fit. So you can really make some efficiencies in your inspection process by going to the site, making field notes, and then compiling your report on an easy to use interface like this. Okay, and of course we have AI narrative field that takes what you write here and tries to improve it. And to get this AI narrative from here, you simply copy it and paste it into here if you like what you see. You can of course modify this as you see fit. And you can train these AI models as well. Any media you can simply drop here, or you can grab from any service you use for holding your files. Very easy to do. Now we can also go to the list view, and we see it's just a different, perhaps a little bit cleaner view here. And again, let's show how we go system by system. Let's say you're sitting down and conducting the report, and you want to just go over the roof system, or the cooling, or the heating ventilation, or the life safety. And we can see the narratives that apply to these very specific systems here. And you can apply it to a property simply by clicking its address. And that's all you have to do. Click the address, or open it up and do the same here. If it doesn't apply, just take it off. Mark things for review. You can use these buttons up here as well. Review complete. It unchecks it. So you can go through all of these things very simply by using your view. You can get a gallery view too. We don't have as many pictures, but you can see how you can create a very easy, simple to use presentation for yourself or your inspectors. And this is mirrored on the client portal as well. Field notes are intended to be a quick system, so if you're in the field and you've got third-party contractors or yourself out there and you don't want to mess with the entire report while you're conducting the walkthrough survey, you can simply create a field note and submit it using a quick form. And this really is quite it. every observation you make, every defect or finding you have, make a field note about it. And our system will help you out by creating a AI field note summary and an AI media summary. So if you've got photos uploaded here, it'll actually give you a quick summary of what the AI system is seeing right here. And what you can do here is you can actually link it to narratives in your system that allow you to take all your field notes and then link them to a finding or a narrative in your actual inspection report. Now we're getting into some of the more advanced features of the commercial system. We made this vastly different from the residential system. We made it to meet a lot of the requirements that commercial inspectors are seeing out there with the creation of equipment, schedules, cost to cure sheets, capital reserve sheets, and these ancillary reports down here. And really, it's fairly simple. It's like using a spreadsheet, but it's more advanced, and it's linked to your narratives. So if I look at my equipment dashboard, this takes all the information that I've inputted in my equipment schedules and essentially collects it and presents different graphs and pivot charts to yourself. And of course, this is mimicked in the client portal as well. But you can see how you can get an overview of the property you're inspecting simply by using this dashboard. And this automatically populates based on what you put in the equipment schedules. So here's all my equipment that I've logged in for this property, but I can use these tabs up here and say, oh, what's my electrical equipment? What's my heating equipment? What's my cooling equipment? And so on and so forth. Okay, so you can really use this. Again, there's different views for it, and you can edit it inline right here, gallery if you need to. So there's a lot to do here. And that populates your equipment dashboard. The cost to cure dashboard, this is collected from your cost to cure sheet. And again, this is built into the system. You don't have to go out and create a different spreadsheet or Word document for this. You simply identify those items that need immediate repairs for your client, and you input them. And that gives you the cost to cure sheet. Now for the inspector, they're going to see with cost to cure, because this is what we use to check it, to make a cost to cure detail for it, and without cost to cure. So these are all the items that don't require you to provide estimates. And of course we see all findings, and we can work from here as well. And we'll see it adds it up automatically for us. Total immediate costs of $18,935 here. And these are all actually narratives from your system. So you don't have to repeat or retype or recreate all of these. You simply take the finding and you put in a scope of work for that, mark it as deferred maintenance, and fill out the profile for it and the total estimated immediate cost, and you're done. Very simple to do. And this works similar to the capital reserves dashboard and summary as well. For any items and narratives that require perhaps a longer term look, perhaps over 1 year or 5 or 10 up to 20 years, you can create narratives for all those, mark it as a capital reserves item, and create a capital reserves profile for all of those. And you have this very broad overview right here in this dashboard. You have a summary sheet view, which gives you 5, 10, 15, and 20 year period estimates, along with automatically calculated inflations for those. And you have, of course, the yearly, year 1 to 20 reports for all of these as well. So you can really forecast out as far as the client needs you to do. Now, we're going to cover these last sections really quickly, and these are the ancillary reports. So within InspectorPrime Commercial, you can create accessibility reports. Very easy to do, very easy to add your media and your comments, and very easy for the client to digest. Same for the observed green features reports. You can create as many of these reports as you like within InspectorPrime Commercial, and so on and so forth. Fire door inspection reports, fireplace and chimney inspection reports. Very simple to create these. Mitigation system inspection reports. And finally, we have accessibility questionnaire, pre-inspection questionnaire responses. And essentially what this is you can create a link to these forms that are already created within InspectorPrime Commercial, send them to your clients and perhaps their property managers or the maintenance managers, and have them fill it out. Once they fill those forms out and submit it, it actually gets populated in here automatically for you, and you can actually deliver these same responses to your client portal. Now, that's a very quick, down and dirty discussion of how to create or use the InspectorPrime Commercial system to conduct an inspection. The process is identical within any mobile device, so your tablet or your cell phone. It uses the same Airtable application, and it looks fairly the same. Of course, anything that's a sheet or has lots of data is going to look smaller on a phone and have a different method of presentation. And we'll create some tutorial videos for the mobile devices later on, but it is very, very simple to do, very simple to use. One last component of the Inspector Portal is the Narrative Library Dashboard. This is actually a dashboard that shows every narrative within your system, and you can manage your library from here. Okay, so you have a master template for InspectorPrime Commercial, and you have a master narrative library for your commercial systems as well. And you can very easily edit this to your company's needs. Let's really quickly cover the client portal. Again, for the most part, this mimics all the information you have in your Inspector Portal, but it shows only that information that the client themselves need. The project proposal, a quick section about your team, an idea, an overview about the process you use to complete commercial inspections. We have the CCPIA ComSop in here. They can review that. And here we have a summary report. So this is just a summary. Gives an executive summary here. Gives an overview of the property and the inspection. Then it gives you an overview of the cost to cure summary, the capital reserve summary, the equipment schedule summary, and a summary of the findings in their inspection. And you can edit this. So if you wanted to show photos here in these lines, you could. But quite frankly, doing so takes up a lot of space when you print out the PDF. And the intention here is for this report to be interactive. So if this catches their eye and they're reading through it, they open up these items on a side panel here, and then they can see their photos. Then they see additional profile information for that finding. And that's how we intended the system to be. Easily digestible, easy to take in, and infinitely customizable with the information you want to present your clients. So that's the summary report. And really, it just shows all your defects, your significant defects, safety concerns, moderate defects, minor defects, and maintenance items. It starts off by showing all defects, and they can group, filter, sort, and search through there. Okay. At the bottom here, we have a quick view look at their ancillary reports. These will only show up if they've actually been completed. So if they're not completed, they won't show up. You don't have to do anything to make sure this comes out looking right. And they can click in here and they can read their reports just like that, because they can see the fire door number 1 failed. Okay, here it is. Why did it fail? Go to Inspector Comments. There you go. Very simple executive overview or summary of their findings. That's not 40, 50 pages long. Okay. Now we go through the full survey report. We click in and we see the full walkthrough survey report right here. And again, this just gives a very detailed listing of the cost of cures, the capital reserves items, the equipment schedules, the findings with all findings, defects, information, limitations, and then a system-wide overview. So they can see the findings by system in a chart. They can go and get the details on what was inspected or not inspected for their particular systems. And they can see and click into the ancillary reports. They can also navigate to the files and media for their report. And what that opens up is results files, property profile images, and additional media if applicable. And again, these only show up if there's something in them, if they're not empty. They've also got a gallery of findings organized by system. And again, it's interactive. They can close these, open them as they see fit. They can filter, they can group and sort and search, they can print them out. They can view it in a Kanban style, a gallery style, or a list style. So it's easily digestible, easily sortable, to get them the information they need. We do have a reinspection results tab here. So if you have a commercial client and you recommend certain items be reinspected after repair, then you could use that the same way you use it in the residential system. The equipment dashboard is presented to the clients as well as the equipment schedules. The cost to cure dashboard is presented as well as the cost to cure sheet, and so on and so forth through the capital reserves and the ancillary reports and questionnaires. So in this section they get all of the ancillary reports and all the questionnaires that were completed for their property, all right here. And this requires no extra effort on your part. So this is a very quick, very down and dirty introduction to how to conduct an inspection using InspectorPrime Commercial. Reach out if you have any questions. We're happy to offer live training. Thanks for joining me.